Dave's Records has been in this neighborhood in Lincoln Park for roughly 32, 33 years now. It was originally a chain called Secondhand Tunes. I worked for the original owner. I've been here 28 years, and then he sold it to an internet company that went bankrupt within a couple of years, and then out of the bankruptcy, I bought this one location. So for the last 10 years, it's been Dave's Records, but everybody in the neighborhood and everybody that's been here a long time knows it's Secondhand Tunes. I still get people that call up 10 years later and ask for Secondhand Tunes, but it's not us. People love that sign, but the sign was out of practicality because when I bought the store, the CD half was next door, because when it was Secondhand Tunes, this was the CD half and the vinyl half was next door. So when I bought it, just to stop people from coming in and, with their big bags full of CDs to sell, it was mostly out of practicality. It wasn't that I hate CDs, I don't like CDs. It's just, this is the format I've always liked. It's the format I'm comfortable with dealing with, even when it was Secondhand Tunes. I pressed to have, the vinyl half. When the owner wanted to split it into two stores, I said, let's do it format-wise, because back in the 90s, late 80s and 90s, that's how it was breaking down. Mm-hmm. People were either shopping CDs, or they were shopping vinyl, or they were music people that did both, so they didn't mind going in next door. So, that's really why it's there. But people do love it. They do love that no CDs. Because it makes you part of a club. The younger kids, I think, like that. They think it's part of some secret club. I don't feel like it's some exclusive, secret kind of club that we're all part of a vinyl, conspiracy against the world. That digital world. We're not like that. I'll listen to music on whatever format I have to. If Tom Waits puts out an only CD item, I'm going to listen to it. It's not like I'm against CDs. I was always confused when I saw vinyl kind of dying off, because it just didn't seem to me that was happening. And it seemed like in the late 80s and 90s, all of a sudden, they were making more new titles. And I'd get them, and we'd sell them. And I was like, why isn't there some kind of requisite increase in the numbers? So I think nowadays, because they're in more places where they track it better, I think they're seeing the same things that I've been seeing for a lot longer than that. It has never died. It died with the generation, the Nirvana generation, late 80s, early 90s. They're the ones that used to come in, look at that sign and go, oh, it's just old man music, and not realize that they still made vinyl, and a lot of the bands they liked on vinyl. And that generation kind of got wedded to that, but that's when the vinyl change that you're seeing now that's written about, it's that young generation that thinks vinyl is cool again. Mm-hmm. I think vinyl connects you in a way to music, to other people. You can buy it online, but most people, when they're buying vinyl, they're buying it in a store, and I think they like the physical aspect of it. The physical virtual build, the physical building of a collection, whereas in the past, your whole collection, you built 10,000 songs virtually on your CD. You don't have a real connection to them about how you built it. You can't even really, your record collection you can look at and see the whole scope of it, whereas you can scroll through, but you can't see all 10,000 songs that are there, but you kind of know they're there, and you kind of know where you got them. But with a record, you know who you were with, you know what day it was, you know who broke your heart that day, and you went out and bought that record. There's an emotional thing to records that's different than, and I think that is what is connecting with the younger generation, because I find so many of them starting to build collections even before they have turntables, as opposed to, which makes no sense to me, but but it's like that first step, dipping your toe in the water. It's like, I'm going to buy the record. Oh, now it's got a digital download, so I can listen to it. But then eventually, when I get over my fears, I'll buy that turntable. So I think there's just something about vinyl that makes you want to connect to the music more, and to connect to music shoppers too. I think people like coming out and looking in somebody's bag and saying, hey, what did they just buy? What was that? Or they come and hear something playing and they go, what was that? That's the difference in the physical world that's different for kids. It's like there's knowledge to be had here in a record store that you can't get online. We weren't hurt by the downturn in downloading. people that were buying records are still buying records. Down Downloading killed the physical CD because you didn't have to have it anymore. Even with your CDs, you pop them in your computer, you rip it, you're done. And then you don't, the cases go sitting somewhere, but you're not doing anything with them. Like with a record, where you want to play it, you got to pull it out of the jacket. You got to play it. Mm-hmm. And once that happened, the stores that had all their inventory set in CDs that they had paid, for used CDs, paid $5 a piece. They used to get $10 for them. Now they couldn't sell them for $1. Mm-hmm. And they also found with a lot of those stores, probably set up digitally early on, so all of a sudden they would start selling their good stock online immediately, and then their store, it's like I'm making all my money online, why do I have this storefront? And then the costs of doing business also are why people stay in business, and sometimes it's not necessarily that vinyl is dying and it can't be profitable, but in some areas, you can't pay the rent to do it, so you can't have a store. I mean, every town would like to have a little record store, but there's a lot that goes into surviving in a business in and of itself. And I think for the businesses that have survived from that crash in the downloading era, where CD, like half of your stock immediately became irrelevant. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to do with that? It's like you can't. Some CDs became collectible online, and for that Madhouse print CD that you can't find anymore, some guy will pay $100 online. Yeah, that does happen, but not not very often. And so for those people, I think they probably had a little bit of vinyl in the background that they had just let waste away, and then they heard stories or heard rumblings or started going, we need to stock some stuff, and then all of a sudden they bought stuff. And this is what I found in the transition from when I bought the store, because I had been adding more and more new vinyl as time went on, and I was always shocked at, really, we can sell that? Because certain things you think you can't sell, and I think a lot of CD retailers didn't have a lot of faith in vinyl anymore, and as they gained more faith in it, that little rack in the back all of a sudden became half the store and helped to save them. And so I think that's the story of vinyl saving a lot of stores. Mm-hmm. You have to be prepared to be a business person as well. You can't just think it's cool to hang out in a record store. You have to love music, have to love selling it to people, and have to love knowing how to keep that viable, because the store is a great place starting out. You can get a great collection of stuff to open a store, but keeping it running when all of a sudden, people aren't bringing in cool records anymore and your real cool store that you opened when you started, what are you going to do? So, here we have a good mix of, as long as you keep a good mix of stuff, new and used, and a variety of things, I think you're always going to survive. But you have to know where your customers are going. You have to know where you want to go with the business too. Yeah.